This time we are doing Swami Chetananandaji's book, God Lived with Them. And from here we are going to do Swami Vivekananda's training. When he was Narendra, how Thakur trained him through words and how he taught him through discussions and through practical demonstrations. Maharaj says, only a good student can be a good teacher. The Katha Upanishad says, wonderful is the expounder of the Atman and rare the hearer. Rare indeed is the experiencer of the Atman taught by an able perceptor. Sri Ramakrishna was an avatar, an incarnation of God who came to the world to establish the eternal religion. He made Narendra a vehicle to carry out his mission. In the parable of the four blind men and the elephant, Sri Ramakrishna recounted how each man touched a different part of the elephant and declared his partial understanding. And then they began to quarrel amongst themselves. But one with clear vision sees the whole elephant and does not quarrel. People with only partial realization form sects, but those who have full realization cannot form sects. Sri Ramakrishna therefore trained Narendra to have full realization and carry his message of harmony of religion to the modern world. So, Sri Ramakrishna trained Swami Vivekananda to have full realization and then to carry his message of harmony of religion to the modern world. On 5th March 1882, the Master asked Narendra, how do you feel about it? Worldly people say all kinds of things about spiritually minded. But look here, when an elephant moves along the street, any number of animals, small and big, may bark and cry after it. But the elephant doesn't even look back at them. If people speak ill of you, what will you think of them? Narendra replied, I shall think that dogs are barking at me. The master smiled and said, oh no, you mustn't go that far, my child. God dwells in all beings, but you may be intimate only with good people. You must keep away from the evil-minded. God is even in the tiger, but you cannot embrace that tiger on that account. You may say, why run away from a tiger, which is also a manifestation of God? The answer to this is, those who tell you to run away are also manifestations of God. And why shouldn't you listen to them? On 19th August 1883, Sri Ramakrishna went to the veranda and saw Narendra talking to Hajra, who often indulged in dry philosophical discussion. Hajra would say that the world is unreal like a dream. Worship, food offerings to the deity, and so forth are only hallucinations of the mind. He would only repeat, I am he. When the master asked Narendra what they were talking about, Narendra replied with a smile, oh, we are discussing a great many things. They are rather too deep for others. Sri Ramakrishna replied, but pure love and pure knowledge are one and the same thing. Both lead the aspirants to the same goal. The path of love is much easier. On 25th June 1884, Sri Ramakrishna advised his disciples to dive deep in God consciousness and then sang a song, dive deep, O mind, dive deep in the ocean of God's beauty. If you descend to the uttermost depths, there you will find the gem of love. In Bengali, this song is Dub 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 Rup Shagore Amar Mon. Then he continued, one does not die if one sinks in this ocean. This ocean is the ocean of immortality. Once he said to Narendra, God is the ocean of bliss. Tell me if you want to plunge into it. Just imagine there is some syrup in a cup and that you have become a fly. Now tell me where you will sit to sip the syrup. Narendra answered, I will sit on the edge of the cup and stretch out my neck to drink, because I am sure to die if I go far into the cup. Then Sri Ramakrishna said to him, But my child, this is the ocean of Satchitananda. There is no fear of death in it. This is the ocean of immortality. On 11th March 1885, Sri Mahendranath Gupta recorded in the Gospels of Sri Ramakrishna. Many of his devotees were, that is, Sri Ramakrishna's devotees were in his room. Narendra did not believe that God could incarnate himself in a human body, but Girish Ghosh, a devotee, differed with him. He had the burning faith that from time to time the Almighty Lord, through his inscrutable power, assumes a human body and descends to the earth to serve a divine purpose. The master said to Girish, I should like to hear you and Narendra argue in English. The discussion began, but the talk was in Bengali. Narendra, God is infinity. How is it possible for us to comprehend him? He dwells in every human being. It is not the case that he manifests himself through one person only. Master tenderly, I quite agree with Narendra. God is everywhere. But then you must remember that there are different manifestations of His power in different beings. At some places, there is manifestation of His avidya Shakti, God's power manifested as ignorance. At others, manifestations are of His Vidya Shakti, power of God manifested as knowledge. Though different instruments of God's power is manifested in different degrees, greater or smaller. Therefore, all men are not equal. Ram, what is the use of these futile arguments? Master sharply, no, no, there is a meaning in all this. Girish to Narendra. How do you know that God does not assume a human body? Narendra. God is beyond words or thought. Master. No, that is not true. He can be known by pure buddhi, intellect, which is the same as the pure self. The seers of the old directly perceived the pure self through their pure buddhi. Girish Ghosh to Narendra. Unless God Himself teaches men through His human incarnation, who else will teach them spiritual mysteries? Narendra. Why? God dwells in our own hearts. He will certainly teach us from within the heart. Master tenderly. Yes, yes. He will teach us as our inner guide. I clearly see that God is everything. He Himself has become all. I cannot utter a word unless I come down at least 2 steps from the plane of Samadhi. Shankara's non dualistic explanation of Vedanta is true, and so is the qualified non dualistic interpretation of Ramanuja. Narendra, what is qualified non dualism? Master, it is the theory of Ramanuja. According to this theory, Brahman, or the Absolute, is qualified by the universe and is living being. These three, Brahman, the world, and the living being, together constitute one. Narendra was sitting beside the Master. He touched Narendra's body and said, As long as man argues about God, he has not realized Him. The nearer you approach to God, the less you reason and argue. When you attain him, then all sounds, all reasoning and disputing come to an end. Then you go into samadhi, into commune with God. There is, we'll read only till here today, but there is a question here. Will dipping twice do? You don't need to dip twice. If you dip once, if you can go in, you won't want to come out. That is the answer. Hope you enjoyed this episode today. Do stay tuned, like and share our videos, and do subscribe to our channel. We'll be back again with another episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Namaskar.